What's going on, YouTube? You're back with Shades, and we're going to continue our Let's Play of Katawa Shoujo. The last time we left off, Hanako had decided to stay in the class and do group work with us, with Hisao, Misha, and Shizune. And unfortunately, Misha, being the complete opposite of Hanako, keeps like asking her questions, not in a rude way, but just not being able to read the room because it's Misha. Let's continue, shall we? I could feel my cover being blown already. Lily didn't want Hanako to know that we were out buying presents for her, let alone planning out her birthday party. It wouldn't be good for her to find out. Yeah, I was doing something else. You know how it is. Really? I wonder what was so important for each one to blow us off like that. If it wasn't to spend time with Hanako, then what could it be? It's really interesting. Oh, it's not even put like I thought it was like she would just keep asking Hanako questions and making Hanako more uncomfortable, and she would like get up and walk out. But it turns out it's Misha going, "Oh, he didn't spend time with yesterday. And he did spend time with us. So what did he do?" And now it's like it went from focusing on Hanako and making her uncomfortable to whipping around and focusing back on Hisao. And now he's like, "My cover is almost blown." Now this is starting to feel like an interrogation. I'm surprised at how Misha is able to exert such a feeling of pressure without actually intending to. Were you with Lily? Out of nowhere, Hanako manages to stumble on the answer. She may be dreadfully quiet and shy, but she's very intuitive. She's very quiet and shy, and you can't see her nose, but she's very smart. Leave her alone. What makes you say that? Yesterday, Lily said something similar. Oh, the cat face! Yeah. I have to say, this face of Shizune is cute. It's just really cute. Suspicious! Hee-chan, I demand you explain yourself. Hey, shouldn't we be doing the assignment? But it's so mysterious. Even Hanako wants to know. I turn to look at Hanako. It's true, from the expression on her face, it's obvious that she wants to know as well. And I think we're past the point where I could weasel out if having to provide an explanation. I apologize to Lily in my mind. She really did want to keep it a secret, but now it doesn't seem possible anymore. I feel a rush of conflicting emotions, so jumbled that I can't readily identify them. But they crash around in my head as I try to calm down and speak. Alright, I'll tell you. I went to town in Lily, but it wasn't what you think. Lily and I were, for Hanako's birthday, we were, oh god, I'm spilling secrets. The cat's out of the bag, but it looks like Hanako is taking it a little better than I thought she would. A brief silence passes around our little group as Shizune and Misha look at each other sheepishly. I can tell that they didn't expect their game to turn out like this. Misha looks up to Hanako in order to apologize, then pauses. Hanako is staring at the middle of her desk and barely moving, a maudlin expression on her face. I guess it was wrong about her taking it well. Hanako? I'm sorry. There's a few second pause, but Hanako lifts and shakes her head. It's okay. Her expression looks odd, like she's very tired. It doesn't seem natural, but it's nothing alarming. Nobody really wants to continue with the current conversation, so we open our textbooks and begin our group work. This is pretty dull. While the equations we were supposed to work on out as a group will take a while, most of it is going to be boringly mechanical. Look what you did! We were having fun! Everyone was having a good time, and you ruined it. What's this music? Oh, it's a tense music. Goddamn. It also doesn't help that while that didn't go as bad as it could have, it has left an awkward atmosphere around us. Still, we manage. Look what you did, you bitches. Shizune's face portrays that she has about the same expectation of our work as I do, and the two of us begin to write our group results. Misha, on the other hand, is scrunching up her lips and is very visibly trying to make heads or tails of what we're doing. Hanako is looking on quietly, absorbing what we write and what I say. She usually has the same expression when the teacher speaks. It's a shame her attendance is so unreliable. With the way she takes in information, I think she'd do quite well in class. If she's actually followed the lessons regularly, I wonder if this might be why Shizune seems so hard on her. Hey Hanako, do you understand this? Misha looks to Hanako, but I suspect her hope is more to find a comrade in ignorance rather than genuine help. Not really, I guess. I'm surprised by how tense she is answering, but she settles back down. She breathes out, the way her upper body and head lower remind me of a deflating balloon. You okay? I could go over this a bit if you want. Hanako shakes her head slightly, but then again I don't think she needs the extra explanation despite what she said. Misha quickly interjects, entirely oblivious, and I end up slowly going through how we ended up at one of the results, step by step. Times like this remind me that this kind of work may not be mechanical for everyone, but rather feels that way to me due to my grasp of the subject. It's a satisfying feeling. As Misha brings her balled fist into an open hand in realization, I discover another nice feeling. My explanation got through to her, and she manages to work out the next equation by herself with minimum guidance. Sorry guys, I just wanted to center the game, because I feel like it wasn't centered. I didn't realize there was a right-click center option. Throughout all of this, Hanako was unusually unresponsive. She's normally very quiet, but one can still see her eyes roving periodically over the landscape of the classroom in front of her, or anxiously moving her hands some way, or shifting her shoulders periodically. Right now, these small movements that I've gotten used to seeing are all missing. Someone not moving at all is definitely weird. Even Misha can tell there's something wrong. Hanako, are you sure you're okay? Yes. Are you sure? I'm fine. A little more strongly this time, but she turns away as she says it. It only makes me doubt her answer, yet at the same time, I can tell she doesn't want to talk about it further. Having already one very awkward conversation today that I'm still not fully over, I don't want to pursue the matter too much either. We settle back into our routine, debating over answers whenever a doubt comes up, but as time goes on, I notice that Hanako isn't talking at all. It's frustrating. She had made so much progress. It makes me a little angry at Shizune and Misha for undoing the surprise Lily had wanted to keep secret so much. I know I'm at fault too. Maybe could have kept it a better secret. Shizune has noticed Hanako's silence as well, and is also getting antsy. I can see it on her face. It's strange that even though she's deaf, Shizune has perceived Hanako's unusual quietness sooner than Misha. Hanako, you're— oh god, fucking— this is— don't! This is the exact opposite of what you want to do in this situation. Why am I red? But this is the exact opposite thing you want to do to a person who's extremely shy. You don't want to force them into the situation. At least not the way Misha's doing it. You want to do it gently. And yes, asking her to participate a bit more could help, but it could also backfire. Once again, double-edged sword here. Oh god. This went south the exact way I thought it was. I'm not quite sure why, but oh well. Oh god. I did say Hanako's route was going to make me cry, and that does not— I do not doubt that. If it makes me cry, it's going to make me cry. Anyway. Hanako, you're being too quiet. You have to contribute too. Someday we might work on a bigger project, or the one that's so big it's worth celebrating afterwards, like with ice cream or cake. If you like this, we won't take you along. I can tell they're trying to tease her to bring her out of her shell, but I don't think that kind of approach will work on Hanako. It will just make her feel worse. Guys, don't tease her like that. Hee-chan, it's all in good fun. Shi-chan says she teases everyone anyway. They do back off though, with Misha moving away from the issue by asking me a question again. On seeing how difficult the problem she's working on is, I don't know whether it was a skillful dodge or mere coincidence. It takes way more time than necessary because Shizune keeps disagreeing with me while I'm trying to explain it to Misha, and Misha's quick to believe her over me, so quick in fact that she forgets to translate what Shizune is saying. Hey, the clock is kind of ticking down. We should speed up a little. Hee-chan, you sound a little like Shi-chan there. Just because I looked at my watch? Geez, is that all it really takes? Time management, and suddenly I'm the student council president. Uh-oh. Bad things are happening if we get a new CG. This is bad. I look at Hanako's desk to see how she's doing in freeze. Our papers are covered in equations, but Hanako's only halfway there. It seems like she hasn't written anything in the past 20 minutes. When I realize that, I want to kick myself for how dumb I've been. I should have known that someone as fragile as Hanako wasn't going to brush off what happened so easily. I've been too eager to move on from an awkward situation to notice. She has been slowly shutting down for the last half hour, and I had no clue. Her pen is still in her hand, but she doesn't slowly spin it around like she usually does. There isn't a single idle movement from Hanako. Oh dear, and there's tears in her eyes. Oh no, I feel bad! Only the fact that she tries to inch away once she feels Shizune, Misha, and me are looking at her tells me that she's even still conscious. We look away, and at least in my case, it's partly out of shame that's gone to this point. Though, on the outside she has shut down almost completely, I know it's a different story on the inside. What kinds of things could she be thinking about as she tries harder and harder to shrink her into herself, as if willing it she could somehow disappear. Everyone is looking at her now, stealing quick glances in between putting the finishing touches on their work. Misha attempts to ask her what's wrong, but that only makes the problem worse. If she weren't frozen to her seat, she probably would run out of the room right now. Is she crying? No, baby! Oh, I think we triggered her. Because it's something to do with her birthday. It has to be something to do with her birthday. I don't know what it is right now, because it may have been mentioned in Lily's route, but I don't remember. Because I know Lily doesn't know everything about Hanako. But, oh god, I feel bad. I feel bad. Misha's questions are loud enough to be heard throughout the entire classroom, and for a second I'm ready to snap at her, because I can only imagine how much worse it is making Hanako feel. Of course, if we were to do that, it would only make the situation worse. I believed that Hanako had gotten stronger, and she has, but it wasn't enough, and I was too eager to believe it. Now she's terrified, alone in the middle of the classroom, and there's nothing I can do without drawing more attention to her. It's infuriating. Misha's worried, and even Shizune is biting her lip. None of us know how to deal with the situation, so I decided to call Muto. His judgment would probably be better than ours. Oh. He's right. That's the best choice in the situation, because, like, he knows how to deal with Hanako, I think. I'm not entirely sure, but I think most teachers would be, like, warned about Hanako, because she has a lot of mental scarring. So let's keep going. I've been monologuing because I don't like this. I don't like this. Oh my god. I look up and manage to catch his eye, silently motioning for him to come over. I want to make as little fuss as possible, since if there's anything that would make it this worse, it's more attention being focused on her. I know that Hanako can see everyone staring at our group, specifically at her, because they know that if there's a problem, it has to be her. Everyone knows her, and it's the first thing anyone's mind would leap to. Her reputation for being a truant has marked her as an unusual person, even an unusual Yamaku. Who knows how many times they have stared at her before? Maybe it's because she's seen the class staring at her so much that she fears their gazes like she does cowering from them. The time it takes Muto to walk over must be like an eternity to Hanako, and she looks as if she's about to fall over. Before we continue, let's take a little break, collect ourselves, and for me to tell you guys to hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell to keep up to date when I upload videos on the regular. I upload Monday to Friday, sometimes 2 videos a day, sometimes 1 video, but I do try to make sure that at least 1 video Monday to Friday will be uploaded. And once again, thank you guys so much for doing so. It really helps out a lot. And let's get back to this, shall we? Muto begins to ask us what's wrong before catching himself as he sees Hanako. Did we upset her? Don't worry. Muto bends down after calming Misha and looks intently at Hanako's face. Hi, Ikezawa. Can I help you at all? His voice is hushed and gentle. Everyone's acting so differently around Hanako now that the whole class has noticed something's wrong with her. Hanako doesn't respond, so Muto gently rests a hand on her shoulder. She starts shaking at his touch, but won't even look up. Hanako continues to stare into the equations on her desk, her vision so unfocused I doubt she even sees them. She's worse than before. I remember that not even an hour ago she was able to talk to him almost normally. Muto grimaces a bit as he stands again, and now that his expression's changed, I can see that he wasn't exactly unaffected by what happened either. He takes a breath to settle himself before speaking in a very quiet voice. I'm a little impressed at how quickly he takes control of the situation. He's a teacher! It's his job! But yeah, if I was in the situation, I would be like, okay, let's do this slowly. Very, very slowly. Is that it? Nothing's wrong then. Muto seems to say that no one in particular. However, his words sound convincing enough that most of the people who are looking over at Hanako now turn away, getting back to their work. He gives a quick glance to his left and right. Several people at the desks around us are still staring curiously, but other than that, we seem to have escaped attracting too much attention. Muto notices me doing the same as him and smiles a little, in his usual stilted way. I think, for Ikezawa's sake, it would be good to quickly take her somewhere away from others. Nakai, Hakamichi, could you please take Ikezawa out of the classroom? I'll keep everyone settled, so please don't worry about anything but her, okay? He looks at Nisha to tell her to interpret the words for Shizune, but she's already finishing her translation by the time he does so. It's remarkable how little thought she needs to sign, and she still looks quite dazed otherwise. Nodding, Shizune and I stand and move to either side of Hanako. Muto steps back and allows us some room, and talks about to the table behind us as some people there have begun to mutter between themselves about what's going on. Same here. We look at each other before lowering ourselves in unison, taking one arm around each of our shoulders and lifting. As the two of us begin to walk at a slow pace to make sure we don't inadvertently hurt her. As much as we try to make this look normal, I'm quite sure that there will be many more gazes on us if not for Muto's distraction. Eventually, thankfully, we reach the door and go through. That was probably the best that the situation could have ended. That was probably the best way the situation could have ended. Because, oh my good golly gosh. Like, I can't imagine what that's like. Because, I have yet to meet someone who's extremely introverted. I've met, well, that's a lie. I know one person who's similar to this, and I don't think she'd be very comfortable with me shouting her out. So I'm not gonna. But if she ever watched this, I think she knows she knows that I'm talking about her. But I know someone like this. The thing is, she's somewhat gotten over her introvertedness. But with Hanako, it's a very special case. Her introvertedness comes from her being scarred and people looking at her strangely, and her internalizing that as they think I'm weird, they're thinking wrong of me, they're probably making fun of me, and it's grown over the years of her having those scars, physically and emotionally and mentally. Like with Hanako, it's probably the worst case scenario for an introvert. And what happened right now, well, yes, was Misha and Shizune's fault to a degree, and yes, to a degree Hisao's as well. There was nothing you could do. They tried their best to treat her like a normal person, and unfortunately, it backfired. So, this is the result. Whatever. Shit. It's because I was a president of an organization, and being prepared for as many scenarios as possible is part of the position. So if I was in a situation like this, I unfortunately I would have to handle it the same way that Muto did, in that, okay, can someone who knows her very well please take her out of the room, help her calm down, help her get back to a state of normalcy, and we'll just carry on. Like, it's hard to how to deal with it, because people are volatile. People are volatile, and you can't help that. Nobody's outside, so we walk down the hallway. It doesn't seem like it's making her more at ease than she was in the classroom. Finally, I ask if she just wants to sit down. For a while, we simply stay in place and wait for her to say something. Shizune attentively rubs Hanako's shoulder a little, but there's no response. Eventually, she shakes her head a little when Shizune tries again. Both of us start looking at her, so we pick up on it immediately. Shizune's hand again comes to rest on Hanako's shoulder as she awakens, her face lifting to two very worried and anxious people looking at her. She looks at us silently for a while. I'm initially worried that she might freak out or do something extreme, but those fears prove unwarranted as her expression slowly changes from an almost lifeless blank slate to a normal, withdrawn shyness. She wordlessly lowers her head, her eyes evasively moving to the aside. She looks embarrassed, almost ashamed. I want to say something, anything to help. I can't, though. I don't really know what just happened or even what caused it. I feel helpless and ashamed of myself for not being of any use. Shizune sighs before looking at me. Even without words, I think I can tell what she's asking. I'll take Hanako to the nurse. Is that okay by you? I try to communicate my attention through hand gestures, but I don't feel like I manage to get through her very well. Shizune makes a dreary face in response to my gesticulations, confirming my impression. She taps a finger in the air decisively, first at me, then Hanako, then toward the stairs. She waits for me to nod before pointing at herself, then pointing to the door to the classroom. I get the feeling Shizune is much better at this than I am. Well, yeah. Deaf people are very good at finding many different ways of communication. I know this because I've met deaf people. They try very hard to make sure that they can communicate with other people, because they know that not everyone who's hearing knows sign language. And that's dumb. But whatever, and you can't expect everyone to learn a new language just to accommodate someone they may never meet. But whatever, I know sign language to a degree, and I know deaf culture to a degree, so like, it just pisses me off that people don't. Oh shit. I didn't hit my timer after the halfway point, so I think I have 3 minutes left around, so. I nod at her, since her plan is, after all, the same as mine. Shizune gets ready to make her exit, but she only leaves after looking at Hanako for quite some time. Are you okay with taking you to the nurse's office? Hanako doesn't say anything or nod, but she stands up in place of herself, and when I begin to walk, she obediently follows. I've read about people being catatonic before, but I think this time I'm seeing it for myself. She looks extremely tired. After everything that's happened, it's not a surprise. Would this be considered a panic attack? Because a panic attack is not always like bombastic or easily figured out. It could just be someone shutting down. I think this is a panic attack. I should really put this camera lower so you guys don't see my bottom jaw or my upper jaw when I talk, because my teeth are straight, because my braces are working. Look at this smile. Hey, I'm just trying to make light of a really shitty situation. After Hanako silently takes off her shoes and lies on the bed in the infirmary, the nurse and I take our leave. He shuts the curtain behind us. We both take a seat and I quietly and thoroughly go through everything that happened in quite some detail. I want to understand what happened, and the nurse has a good chance as anyone of knowing. He nods throughout my explanation, his face looking troubled as I finished. It must have been very troubling for you to have seen all this. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't. I get that she fainted, but I don't really understand anything about why it happened or why she's acting like this. He nods, but his face is clouded. You don't either? Well, yes and no. It's complicated. I assume you've heard about the concept of patient confidentiality at some point. This is a bit of a minefield in that respect. I'm going to put it bluntly. This is a matter for Igazawa, me, and her therapist. I move to protest, but think better of it. I want to deny what he says, but if I think this through rationally, what he says makes perfect sense. That's very true. I've been in some medical situations, and you have to sign forms. Like, if you work in a hospital or in any sort of, like, medical field, you have to sign a non-disclosure agreement in that, like, you're going to be working with patient files, with patients, you're going to see their board, you're going to see everything about them. You're not allowed to share that. You are a medical professional. You cannot share that with anyone except other medical professionals. So the thing is, he literally cannot say anything about Hanako unless he has the consent of Hanako, her legal guardians, or her therapist. You literally cannot do that. It's against the law. I understand. Good. I wish I could help you more, but I think what Ikuzawa needs right now isn't somebody prying into her past or her emotions. She just needs somebody to be there for her. She needs a friend. For what it's worth, I think you've done well bringing her here. Sounds like you and your friends dealt with the situation well, too. I'd give you a lollipop or a sticker as a reward, but you might be a little too old for either. He gives a cocky grin, obviously trying his best to lighten the atmosphere. I'm not really in a laughing mood, but he does manage to get a smile out of me. Thanks, do you mind if I stay here with Hanako? I appreciate the thought, but I think it would be better if you let her rest for now. She'll be let back into a dormitory room this evening. You can visit her then. I agree with him before standing. It feels like all I can ever do around the nurse is humbly agree to what he says. I mean, it's the right thing to do. You can't really do much for Hanako at this point, because the thing is, Hanako's situation is so volatile. It's hard, especially when Hanako gets like this. You can't, like, force yourself into the situation unless, like, you know everything about it and you don't. So the best thing for you to do is be on standby and be there when they need you. Because I've had a friend like this. I've had a friend who shuts themselves out when they're stressed, who doesn't deal with it very well, who like tends to collapse inward rather than outward. And it's hard to, like, I wouldn't say deal with this person, but it's hard to help them because you're like, can I do this? Can I do that? Can I do the other thing? And the thing is, more often than not, they just want to be left alone. And them being like, leaving them alone means they carry all that by themselves. And it's hard to let them do that because you're like, if I could just take some of the burden off, it would be helpful. But they're like, no, I need to be alone. And you just gotta let them do it. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. This was an emotional roller coaster. Oh my god. Oh god. The walk back to the classroom was a long one, my mind feeling heavy under the weight of so many things happening so suddenly. Okay, good. I can end it here. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you want to see more videos from me or from the series, hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell to be updated on when I upload videos on the regular. And as always, you are now exiting the Shadyverse. My name is Shades, and I hope you enjoyed your day in the Shades. See you guys next time.